What I want to do in this video is talk a little bit about inner joins and outer joins, and this is chapter 7 from the book. So inner joins are the default join condition and the one you'll be working with most of the time. As a SQL developer, the inner join is the one you'll see most of the time. Inner joins are really the intersection of two tables, two or more tables. That is, there has to be a record in one table and a matching record in another table to appear in the result set. So you're really looking for the intersection of two tables to appear in the result set. And I have a Venn diagram, and the Venn diagrams, of course, are named after the English mathematician John Venn. And his contribution to SQL is much better than the Cartesian join. So here we have an inner join, which shows table A, which is the student table. I'm calling it the student table, and table B, which is the telephone table. So the intersection, or the inner join of these two tables, represents students who have given their phone number. It could be a phone type P, it could be a phone type C, or it could be both P and C, meaning they did give two phone numbers. But what this logically represents is students who have given their phone number. Now, outer joins take the inner join and add that intersection of two tables to the remaining contents of one of the tables being joined. So you're going out. You have the inner, but now you're moving out, either left or right. So the left outer join returns all the extra rows from the table to the left of the join keyword. The right outer join returns all the extra rows from the table to the right of the join keyword, and we'll look at examples of that. So here we see the Venn diagram, and very few things in life can't be explained with a Venn diagram, of the left outer join. So we have table A and table B. Again, we have the student table and the telephone table. So we see here we have the intersection of the two tables remaining, and we also have this outer bit of the student table. So this represents students who have given their telephone number along with students who have not given their telephone number. Now we have the right outer join. And I apologize because I couldn't find the Venn diagram that matched the other ones, but here is a right outer join. We have table A, student table again, table B, the telephone table. And this represents students who have given their telephone number along with telephone numbers that don't have a corresponding student. And it seems kind of odd to say a telephone number that doesn't have a corresponding student. So this is just some orphan record that's out there. Maybe it was done by mistake. Maybe somebody typed in the wrong student ID or something like that. Sometimes this is called a discrepancy report. You want to see if there are records out there that you really don't need, that are done in error. So that is an example of the right outer join. So the SQL query challenge for today is to create a SQL query that will give the student ID, the last name, the first name, and the phone number for all students who have a phone type of C or cell phone, along with the student details of students that do not have a cell phone number in the telephone table. So we're working under the assumption that almost all students will have a cell phone number. They may not have given us their cell phone number, but we want to know we want a report of their cell phone number. And we also want to know the students that have not given us their cell phone number. So we can get after those students to give us their cell phone number. So going to Apex, what I'll do first is select student ID, first name, last name, and phone number from student join telephone on, and let me give some table aliases, make things a little bit easier. The S is a telephone alias or table alias that refers to the student table, and the T is a table alias that refers to the telephone table. So on s.student ID equals t.student ID, and I better put the table alias in front of student ID or that'll throw an error. Okay. So we get a number of records. And if you want to check the count, you can just do the group function count, comment out the column names, and run it. So we got 1,402 results. Or what I want to do is to say and phone type equals C. Forgot about that. So if we do that, we end up with 793 records. Let me write that down. Okay, what I could do is say inner. I could specify an inner join. This is really unnecessary because this is the default. The inner join is the default join condition. When you say join, you're really talking about an inner join. So if I run it this time, I get the same 793 records because they're the same. The plain old join and the specified inner join are exactly the same. Okay, so I've got that going. That's the inner join. This is really the intersection of the student and the telephone tables. What if you want to do an outer join on the student table? Now the student table is to the left of the join keyword. Here's the join keyword. Student is to the left of it. So we would say left outer join. Now you start to see blanks here. This means that a student has not given us their cell phone number, or it doesn't appear in the table. All right? Arch Codrington. All right, we have to get after him to give us his cell phone number. Jordan Folger. And if you're wondering if these are real names, no, these are fake names. I made them up. Or I got them from somewhere, I should say. So you won't be looking, you won't be walking down the street and seeing Fridia Jorez anytime soon. Okay, so what this does is it gives us student details along with a pseudo record, a pseudo phone record. The phone number doesn't exist, but the SQL system kind of makes it up. All right, it shows us a blank or a null value for that telephone number. So you get the intersection of the two tables along with the student records that aren't in the intersection. So that is the left outer join. Now the right outer join, we can just specify right, will give us the telephone records that don't have matching student records. All right, because it's to the right of the join condition. Here's the join condition. Telephone is to the right of it. And let me run this. Aha. It appears we have one record that's an orphan record. There's just a telephone number out here with no student first name or last name or student ID associated with it. I purposely created it this way. I mean, that's the 716. That's our area code. 878. That's Buff State. 5. I just threw in the 5555. So this is a right outer join that gives you telephone record, gives us the intersection of the student and the telephone table, along with telephone records that don't have matching student records. All right. So we see the phone number here. We have no matching student details with it. So that is the right outer join. So that is an introduction to the left and right outer joins.